What, bro?
We did not change keyboard into the event elements.
You did not. I couldn't understand what.
Not change the
Okay, the
keyboard
file
event
name. Okay,
to
okay, okay. Yeah,
event
okay.
element.
So event delegation. So the event is, what is event, right? Whatever we are giving some action to the application we are created. For example, click or even type, anything is going to be an event. So it's kind of an action. Okay. So now what I'm going to do. So here I'm going to target this delete. Okay. This one. So now how can I do this? So anyone explain me how can I do this? So how can I target the button? Now I will inspect this. Okay, I will show you the class. I think I kept the class. So we have some class here. How can I target that A now in my document, in my JavaScript?
Document query selector.
So okay. So document query selector like that way, right? Now what I'm going to do. So here the event delegation basically going to work. So here const del item equal to document dot query selector. It's going to have a delete item. That's a class. Okay. So now what I'm going to do here, function, instead of doing like this, what should we do? So yeah, okay, I will show you like this way. So when I click this add event listener, okay, so here I'll pass the click, and here the function takes the event function. I'll just console log. Okay, console log 123 string. Okay, so now we'll check what is going to happen. So you see, if I click this, I can get the one to just 1 minute, just 1 minute. Okay, so now if I click this, you see, when I click this first one, it's actually running. Okay, the 123 is running, but when I click this one, it's not consoling the 123. You see, because the query selector is going to return only the single element. So basically, we are not going to target this direct class to give some action. Okay, so here we have bunch of delete icons here, right? So to fix that, what I'm going to do, so we're going to use an event delegation, capturing the bubbling, allow us to implement one of the most powerful event handling patterns called event delegation. It's kind of pattern. Okay, so the pattern is basically the idea how we implementing something. That's a handling pattern. We're going to event handling pattern. The idea is that if we have a lot of element handling in a similar way, so we have a lot of element in a similar way. You see, we have a lot of element, right? The delete in a similar way. So then instead of assigning a handler to each of them, so what we want to do, we want to now, like this way, if you do that, you should want to create more than five document.query selector, because delete one, item 1, item 2, item 3, like that only it's going to work. Instead of doing like that, we can put a single handler on their common ancestor. In that handler, we can get a event.target. We can target something from the parent to see where the event actually happened and handle it. For example, now what I'm going to do, so I will take this out. We are not going to follow this kinds of thing. Okay, so now I'm going to target the document.body. Okay, the document.body dot add event listener takes a click. I'm going to fire off the function here. The function is going to have a console.log hello. So now what is going to happen? I target the body. Now what's going to actually happen? Just explain me, anyone. Now where I add the add event listener. So last time I show you the example, we add the add event list only to this delete item, right? But now where I added the add event listener to the body, right? You understand?
Yes, sir.
So to the body, I add the add event listener. So now the body is basically the whole thing. Okay, the whole window is actually the body, because inside the body only the HTML code is going to start, right? From the container to end of the container. So even if I click wherever I want here, it's going to fire off the function. You see, if I click here, the 1, 2, 3 is firing off. If I click here, the 1, 2, 3 is again firing off. If I click here, so wherever I'm clicking, the body is going to run the function, right? You understand?
Yes, sir.
So now what they said in that handler, we get event.target to see where the actual event happened to handle it. So now we should want to target some event here where particular things happen in the body. Okay, so to do that, what I'm going to do, instead of doing like this, I'll just take this out. I'll keep a delete item. I'm just going to delete something from a document. Okay, for now I will keep it like this. So I'll just create this function here. So function delete items takes a e. Okay, I told you the e is going to return some object, right? Yesterday I told you in the event object. So what the e is going to return, we'll check that. Okay, you see in the body, when I click, delete item function is going to fire off. Now this function is just returning the event object. Okay, that's all. So when I come back here, if I click here, wherever I can click, I'm going to get some object. Okay, so this object is going to only can access for only for the event. Okay, only for this add event listener and the function the name you are passing here. So it's going to have a event parameter. Okay, for example, I will keep like this event, not e. So event. Okay, so when I click here, it should return this. So I will scroll down here. Okay, there is a lot of bunch of things here. So you see the client Y, client X yesterday we saw, then we can see the offset. You see the target, there is a target. Okay, we should want to target something from this document. I will show you what this actually means. There is a screen X, screen Y, shift key false. For example, now the shift key is false. Okay, if just I will give like this. Okay, event dot if event dot shift key, how they gave. So this is the shift key. When I press the shift key and click some from the body, it's going to return console.log shift search shift pressed. Okay, so when I come back here, now I'm not holding the shift key, but when I hold the shift key and press, now you see the shift pressed. Okay, because now I'm holding the shift key and pressing the keyboard now in the body. When I release the shift key, now you see the 30 is not increment, right? Because this is how these things are actually working. But we are not going to target the shift key here. We're going to target some how do I say, some classes here. Okay, for example, if event dot target, what is the target is going to return? Yes, yesterday I told you that what's actually going to return. Event dot target, what is going to return? Again, I will console log and show you what is event returns. Okay, I'll put the event here. Yeah, when I click this, I will open this. I will come back here. The target is now having the body. Okay, basically the target is going to return the actual element. Okay, that is what I told you yesterday. So when I put event dot body here, dot body event dot target. Okay, target. When I come back here, when I click this, you see now the body is returning because we target the body. Okay, so you see here, you see when I click here, I get the collection item. Okay, remember that I basically click add the event listener is what to the body. When I click here, it's return body, but when I click here, it's return span. When I click here, it's return input. When I click here, it's return button. So when I click here, it return h5 ulli. If I click here, I can get the remove item. You see, I can get the remove item. Okay, the I tag. So if I click here, I can get the A tag. So this is how we can target the element wherever we are can target, wherever we click some somewhere in the application, we can directly get the actual element what we are targeting. That is actually the target. Okay. Yesterday I told you that. So now what I'm going to do here. So now the one thing I'm going to so there is a two types we can do in a two types. So what I'm going to do, so I just want to delete this li, okay, to this particular li. So if I click this, it should want to get rid from here. Okay. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to check if the class name is equal to the what where I'm press. That is the actual logic. Okay. So when I click here, I can get the, okay, here I can get the a tag. So now I can get the a tag. You see, now I get the a tag because here we have the a tag, inside only we have the I tag. Okay. So now I'll show you this. If, okay, if you know what is e dot target, so even the target is basically basically going to return which element you are actually targeting. Okay. So e dot target parent element. Okay. Parent element parent element dot class name. Okay. Is equal to, okay, when you see, I'll show you this one also. Wait, when I console log, I'll show you. I'll take this out. Console.log. This is very important. If you understand this properly, you can handle a lot of things in the application, like bugs in your application. You can find it easily. So when I click this, cannot read the property of undefined of the parent.
Target spelling.
Okay. PARENTELEMENT, right one?
PAR, sir. T. Target.
Target. Okay, okay. So if I come back here, when I click this, I can get the delete item and secondary content. Okay. You see, when I click the e dot event target, it returns the I tag. Okay. You see, it returns the I tag. Okay. What is the parent element of the I? It's a tag, right? So the parent element of the I is the A actually. Okay. So now when I click the I can get the actual a tag here. Okay, everything is perfect. I want this particular classes. Okay, the parent class. So I want to give class name here. So when I come back and click, I'll get the class name. Okay, super. So now the logic is, the simple logic is, if the parent element is equal to the class name of where I am actually I'm clicking to this element. Okay, if I'm just clicking this element, it's going to check the parent element is equal to the string what I'm going to pass an if statement. Okay, so I will show you that. So I'll take this out. Okay, now you know what it's actually written. Okay, it's returning the actual of the parent element class name. Okay, remember that. If parent event dot target parent element class name is equal to, here I'm going to pass the class name, delete item is secondary content. Okay, if it is that, we can remove console log. Okay, I'll show you that. Console log, we should want to remove the parent element of the parent element, right? So if you see, I'll take this one, I'll put here. We'll first check what's actually returned. So when I click, it's returning a tag because the if is now returning true. That's why this condition is now running, because the event dot target dot parent element dot class name is equal to the delete item and the secondary content. Okay, when I click this I element, it's going to check the parent element class name. So this is a delete item and the secondary content. So when I come back here, I'm just checking, is this parent element have this has this delete item and secondary content. If it is true, it's going to fire off the console.log event.target dot the parent element. Okay, now we get the a here, but I don't want this. I want the li tag. Okay, who is the li? Where is the li? The li is the parent of this a tag. Okay, I should want to pass one more parent here, dot parent element. So if I save this, come back, if I click this, I can get the li, actual li. Okay, wherever I click. So if I hover this, you see this is the event delegation. Okay, that's what they mentioned in the handler. We can get the event target to see where the event actually happened and handle it. That's it. Simple logic. Wherever we are just clicking, if I click here, I can get the parent element of that particular list. Okay, so now the simple to remove from the document. So it should, we want to give dot remove. That's all. Okay, so if we come back here, if I click this one, it should delete from the here in the document. Wherever I click, the particular li only going to remove from the document. Okay, so now it's going to return come back again, because we are not like it is basically hard coded. Okay, only it's removing from here, but when we get into the project, it's not like that way. When you refresh also, it's not going to come, because we are all going to store all the data in a local storage, and we're going to fetch from the local storage. Okay, so you see now how this thing is basically working. So now we understand how this works, the simple logic.
Yes, sir.
You understand, everyone? If you not understand, let me know. Once again, I will explain you, no problem.
Sir, once repeat it, sir.
Yeah, okay. So I'll take this one. Okay, so this is event delete item. Okay, I'm targeting the body. So now console.log event dot target. The target is going to return where I am actually click. Okay, where I'm actually click in the body. So come back here. So if I click here, I get the body. If I click here, I get the H5. If I click here, I get the LI, because I'm targeting from the event. Okay, wherever I'm click inside the body, it's going to give me, it gives me back here where I click the target, actual target. So if I click this one, it returns I. Okay, it returns I. I'll put here. So I'll take this one. Okay, only the parent element. So I'll close, I'll command this console.log. So even, you know what's going to return when I click the I? It's going to return, sorry, the yellow icon. Okay, it's going to return I. I of the parent element is A. Okay, if I click this one, it should return A. Okay, but we don't need this. We need the parent element of the A. Okay, that is Li. So now again, if I give the parent element here, when I click this here, it should return Li. You see, it's returning the collection item, because we are targeting that only in the console. Okay, event target, it's going to return the actual icon. Parent of that icon is a here. Basically here we have a here we have a Li. Okay, this is how these things basically work. So here we have a I. Okay, when I click I, it's going to look for the parent element of the I is A. Parent element of the A is what? The Li. Sorry, here the Li. Okay, so now everything is okay. Now basically what I want the class name. To add some logic here, class name. So what's the class name of the Li? Tell me, anyone tell me. What is the class name of the Li? Sorry, not the
Collection
Li.
item.
What is the class name of the A?
Delete item secondary content.
Okay, delete element secondary content. We want to get the A. Okay, if that event.target, that parent element has a class of delete items and secondary content. Okay, that's what we need, the logic. If I click here, I can get, okay, we don't need this one. If I click this, I can get the delete items and secondary content. Everything is good. So we get this one. Okay, here we get this actual string. I'm just using I'm just checking it is equal to the string what I'm passing here. Okay, so if the string has matched to this string, I should want to run this code. Okay, that is the if statement. So okay, now another question. If I click here, what is the parent of this Li? Anyone tell me? So if I click the Li, what is the parent of Li? Who is the parent of Li here?
UL
UL.
What is the class of UL?
collection.
Collection. So we target the event.target. So this is going to an Li, right? This is an Li. The Li parent is UL. Now UL class name is collection.
Collection.
Okay, this is what the collection is only we going to get now. Okay, because that's what we target here. So event.target, I will just put here like this. Okay, this one is event.target, basically the Li. Li of the parent is UL. UL class name is collection. Okay, so I'll just command this out. So this is how the collection, we're going to get the collection because we are getting the class name. I'm coming back here. If I click this li, I can get the collection. Okay. So if I click this one, I can get the delete item and secondary content because that is the parent of the I. Okay. Now you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
sir.
super. So I'll take this out. I'm just checking if the event.parent element class name is equal to the delete item and the secondary content. If it is yes, it should return true. Okay. When it's returned true, what should I want to do in the statement? I'm just targeting the event.target. Here we have a tag. A of parent is li. We are just removing that from a document using the dot remove method. Okay. I'll put here like this. So event.target is basically I. The I of parent is A. The A of parent is li. Okay. That's it. Take this for the reference only. I'm just doing this for your understanding. So okay, now we're going to delete this li. That's all using dot remove. So when I click here, now this is not going. You see, wherever I click, it's not going to work because we are not, because the if statement is, you see how the if statement is working. Event.target parent element class name only contains this class name only. The if statement is going to run. If it is true only, this is going to run. Okay. If not, it's not going to run because if I click here, this is going to check the UL, but the UL is not contain this string of the class. Okay. So that's what it's not working. So here I'll just put else here. Okay. Else console.log. Okay. So if I click here, you see wherever I click, I can get the hey. But if I click here, I didn't get the hey, it's written undefined and the one element is removing from the document. You see how this things actually works. So, okay. So one question to you now. So if I give another, so now I told you that a parent element and the A parent element is li. If I pass another parent element, who can going to remove from the document?
UL.
Okay, that's all. Okay, that's it. If I click this one, the UL is going to totally get rid from here. Okay, so now we understand, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, everyone.
Yes, sir.
Okay, super. But there is one problem here. Okay, the problem is what the problem we're going to face. Now I just add one more class here. Okay, test like this in this one UL only for the second one. Okay, I'll add the new text string to this new class to the A tag. If I come back here in the application, this is going to delete. Okay, we'll target this one. I'll take this parent element. So if I click this, it should delete from the document. If I click this 3, it should delete from the document. If I click this, it should delete from the document, and the 5 also delete from the document. Basically, these 4 LIs are only having delete item and secondary content. Okay, now this a second element contains a new class called test. If I click this, it's not going to delete. Okay, you see, because of we are check only the string. Okay, delete item, the secondary content. That's what the problem. If I pass the test here, now these 4 are going to not going to delete. Only this 2 is only going to delete. Okay, that this is going to stay the same way. This is not a good idea to select a document, the element from a document. Okay, using the class name. If you put the class name, you should want to target the whole string. Okay, this is not a good way of doing, right? So this is not a dynamical way also. So to avoid these things, what I'm going to do, the same thing, but some different, like little different. I'm going to use a class list. Okay, what the class list is going to return. I will tell you some type now. The class list, for example, here I'll target this one. Okay, when I console.log event.class name, the class name is going to return the actual string. Okay, delete item and the secondary content. But if I try to access the class list, what is going to return? How is going to return? DOM token list. You remember?
Yes, sir.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. So the DOM token list. So when I come back here, when I click this one, we can get the DOM token list as an array. You see, as an array. Okay. Inside the prototype, we have a contain method. You see, there is a contain method. we can check, is there any class contained to that element what I am basically targeting the parent. Okay, so I'll just come back here. The class list return the DOM token list. Remember that this is very important. That's what again and again I ask you on that day. Okay, so remember this. So if e dot target dot parent element, okay, parent element. So not if, I'll just show you in the console.log. So console.log e dot parent element of class list, it's going to return a DOM token list. When I click here, it should return the DOM token list. Basically, the A has delete item and secondary content because I target the I of A. Now this A contains the class list of two classes. One is secondary content and another one is a what is that? The delete item. So here I'm going to use dot contain TAIN. Okay, contains this. If this contains delete item, okay, if it is contains delete item, we'll check what is going to return. If I click here, we can get the true. You see, we get the true. So wherever I click this, it should return the true because if all li now contains this delete item class. Now what I'm going to do for the fifth one, I'm just going to remove this delete item. Okay, so now for the fifth one, we don't have, we are not having the delete item. So this is true, this is true. So this one also true, this one also true. But if I click this, it should return false because now we remove that delete item from this A tag. Okay, again I'll add this here. Even though we have the test here, also it's basically working because we are targeting only this one class only. Okay, I will cut this out. Now I'm going to change the logic, not logic, it's very same logic. If the e dot target parent element class list contain delete item, so if it is contain the delete items, this if else returns true, it's going to run this one. Okay, so if we come back here, now it should delete, even though the second one has no contain test. We are not targeting the actual string of the class's name. We just check that it's contain delete item only one class. If I click this, now it's returning the same thing. Okay, this is how the things work. So that's what I told you on that day. The delete class list is very important because to check contains some, to check a dynamic class contains, so we should use like this kind of logic. Okay, so this is what event delegation capturing. We don't need this actually. Capturing and allow us to implement one of the most powerful event handle patterns. Basically, this is a event, this is a pattern. The pattern is we are targeting the body. Inside the body, when we have this contain delete item, we can delete this. That's all. Okay, so the pattern called event delegation. This pattern names called event delegation. The idea is that if we have a lot of element handle in a similar way, so in our case, the delete icon is the similar way of element handled. So that is not a good idea, like a delete item 1, delete item 2 each and every individual class. We are not going to do that. Okay, this kind of not a good way of doing. Then instead of assigning a handler to each of them, we put a single handler on their common ancestor. So in the handler, we get the event.target. So you know what is the event.target is going to return. Wherever you click the element, that actual element is going to return. In our case, we are targeting the I. Okay, when I click the I, I'm going to get the parent element of that I is going to be an A. I'm checking the class list that contains delete item. Yeah, if it's true. If it is true, the if statement is going to run. What the if statement is going to run? The e.target is an I of the parent element is A of the parent element is li is now should remove from the document. So this is how the event delegation is work. So most of the time, not most of the time, 100% we always going to use the event delegation only. Okay, remember that we are not going to target the particular element from the document and the law, not like that way. Okay, so remember this is very important. If you have any doubt here,
No, sir.
I hope I'll understand better.
No, sir.
I'll teach you
No.
better, I think. Understand, right, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now I'll show the local storage. Okay, this is also important because everything is going to be important because I'm only taking very important concept only. Okay, so there is a lot of unwanted things in JavaScript, not only in JavaScript programming, but you should want to learn the important thing because that is what always you're going to do repeatedly. Okay, for example, I will show you some example. How do I say that? So in JavaScript, some of the programming, some of the student, how they do, they uh, they would like to learn all of the things from the JavaScript using the documentation, but what the actual reality? So JavaScript is 100%. Okay, in this 100%, the 20% thing only going to use to build a bigger application. Okay, so I'm just focusing on this 20%. Most of the companies, most of them are only going to target this 20%. This 20% is only going to use to create a bigger application, like whatever the application you are seeing in the JavaScript of 100%, they are only using it 20%. You should want to learn this 20% first. Okay, this is enough basically. So that 20%, that 20% only we are basically now learning. Okay, so remember that. So don't try to learn everything about the language. This 20% is enough. That 20% is only now we are learning here. Okay, so here we're going to learn the local storage. Local storage. What's the local storage? So the local storage, will see the definition. I'll copy and paste the definition. So JavaScript, just so local storage and session storage. I'll give you the both example. So web storage object, local storage, and session storage allow us to save key value pairs in the browser. Okay, that's all. We don't need anything other like this. So I'll copy this. This is a simple definition. So local storage, section storage, web storage object, local storage, and session storage allow us to save key value pairs or name value pairs kind of object. Okay, I almost stick with name value pairs in the browser. So we are going to store something in your browser. Okay, that's all. For example, now what I'm going to do when I just change this file to 13. Okay, /13. Okay, everything is fine. Now I'll just we can do store, read, delete, and delete all. So I'll keep like this. So the local storage, okay, console.log window, where the local storage is going to come. We'll open the window. Where is the L here? There is a local storage, right? You see, we have the local storage in the window. Okay, in the I console the window here. That window, inside the window object, we have local storage. So it's a part of your JavaScript core engine. Remember that. Okay. So when I open this, you see there is nothing here, only the length we have. But when I open the prototype, I will take you the prototype and all this when we get into the object. So for now, just understand this simple thing. Okay, we have set item, remove item, get item, clear. Okay, we are not going to use the key and all. Only set, remove, get, clear. What the methods going to do now? Okay, so first step, I'm just going to show you the get item. Sorry, the what how you say the set item. Okay, so the set item is basically going to work like remember that name value pass or key value pass. Some people say name value, some people say key value. I will put both the keywords. So now I'll use the local storage dot set item. Okay, it's a key value pair. So what I mentioned, the name value pair is an object, right? The object is going to contain name and value. Remember that, name and value. So the name is going to be the left side of the property name. So the name, the right side should be a name of Javed. Okay, so I will set something to this local storage. So where I can see the small piece of data. Now the second question, I'll come back to my browser. Now I'm not seeing anything here. I'll get to the, now I'm just using the store. Okay, I'm storing something to the browser. I'll come back to this application in the browser. You see in the browser, we have local storage, session storage, index DB, cookies, and all these things. Now we store in a local storage. I open this. Now this is our local IP, right? So this is my host. I'll click this. You see name and Javed now stored here. Okay. This is how people will find the user is basically I think if you log into the WhatsApp, okay, when you come again to the WhatsApp know you are logged into this using this browser, because they are storing the data like this in a local storage. Okay, they are not storing in a local storage, but this concept is working like this. Okay, so here we storing some data, the name and the Javed. Here we set some data to the local storage. So first step is done. Okay, the store. So the second step, okay, I'll close this one. I'll close this. Okay, you see, I will close this. I'll close the browser. I come back here again. I'll open in a window. Okay. Now I'll inspect. Again, I come to application. Still, I can see the name and Javed here. Okay, this is going to store in your browser. That it's going to store in your browser. So you should want to clear this out. Is like using manually. If I refresh this, it's going to set again, because this function, this JavaScript file is going to load. Okay, so that's what it's resetting again using this set method. So when I command this and I'll clear this, if I refresh this again, we are not going to see this because we just command this out. Okay, so I'll just set something. So this is how the local storage set item is work. So don't worry, I will explain you why we are using this when we get into the object, when we get into the project. Okay. So first step is store. Okay, we stored something here. Okay. Second one is read to get. So local storage dot get item. What we going to get? The name. So I'll put in a console log. Console.log the name. Okay. So if I come back here, I can see the Javed. Okay, because that's the value we store in a name value. Okay, in the name property, it's a Javed. So it's a key, it's a value or name or a value, whatever you can call however you want. So the name now contains the value of Javed. So it's returning Javed. So the second step done, read. The third step is delete. Okay. So the delete is basically remove. Okay. So console.log local storage dot clear. Sorry, not remove item. The item what we going to remove? The name. Okay, I'll pass the name here. So now you see, now here we are getting undefined. Okay, because I'll call this here. Why here I'll call this this one. Okay, I'll call this here. Now you see it's returned null. Okay, here it's returned Javed, because here it's getting the value from the set item. Everything is good. When I remove the item, I'm now get from the name. Now the name remove from the storage. Okay, the local storage. Now the get name is returning null because we are not having anything here. So we removed using this remove item. This is remove item. So we are not going to store only this one value. We're going to store it like as an array. Okay. So when we do that, we should use a clear also to clear out the whole array. Okay, the whole data. So you see now again it's returned null, but when I command this out, if I get this, I can get two Javed. Okay, because here also get item is working, get item is working. When I come back to the application, now I can see the name and Javed. So if I use both any one of this, so it's going to clear the whole array. Okay, now you see, now it's got deleted from here. Okay, this is what local storage. The difference between the local storage and session storage, the local storage is going to store even if you close your browser. Okay, for example, I showed you that example. I close that browser and again I come back and see, I see the value here remains the same, but I'm going to use the session storage. Okay, here itself I'll use. So set session storage. session storage. So I'm going to set the session storage is also part of window object. Okay. Session storage dot set item. I'm going to give a child. Okay. Child name is John. I set session storage value name key is child and name is child and value is John. So when I come back here, you see there is another option of session storage. So I can see the child and John. Okay, so don't worry about this. This is something different. This is actually our browser. You see the session storage is now storing our live server in a session storage. Once you close this, okay, I close that out. Okay, I will command this also again. I will open it again. Okay, I will open this again in the browser. Coming back to the browser views here. Now the local storage going to have here. You see the local storage not deleting from the deleted from this application because the local storage going to stay here. Okay, when we should want to clear it manually, then only it should going to get delete from here. But the session storage is not like that. Whenever you close this session, the browser session, it's going to delete from here. Okay, this is how the session storage is basically work. So why they are live server storing here means when you close this window, it's going to stop this server. Okay, that's what it's mean. It's they are basically how do I say, they're basically catching this session because they want to know if the person is close the window or not. If they close, they basically get they basically remove from the true from here. Okay, so that's what they are using the live server here. Is this first time log from live server? When you close this, it's not going to come again. It's going to delete from here. When you open a new browser window, it should set again true. Okay, this is how they are storing their data. So now the session storage set item, the same thing for the set item, get item, and things for the same for this also. We'll set something here. Console.log session storage dot get item. What I'm going to get? I'm going to get the child. Okay. So I used to call, I can get the John here because it's coming from session storage. Once I close this, I will put here. Okay, I'll command this out. I'll open it again. Now I can see the local storage Javed. Javed is returning, but here now null is returning because we close the session of the window. Okay, so that it's going to clear from the application the session storage, so that it's when we get some again it's return null because we are not setting anything to that. Okay, I'll set this. So now we can get the John, and also we can clear remove item the child. So we're going to get I'll call this here get item after here. Okay, so this one is going to return null. I'll take this console and on. This is very simple. Okay, I'll give the reference, go and learn there about the local storage. So we get the null here, we get the John, and here after we remove the child from session storage, we getting the null here. Okay, this is enough today classes. So we saw event delegation and local storage. Tomorrow we get into the projects. Tomorrow we going to create the whole project. Okay, this same project we're going to create, we're going to add a dynamical value, we're going to delete from here, and we're going to clear task. We're going to store all this data into the local storage. When you close this browser and even when you come back here, you can get this data. Okay, when you reload the page, this still remains the same. Okay, how the dynamical value is going to work. So tomorrow we'll do this one. Okay, so today class is over.
Right?
What, bro?
This is to-do list, this project.
Yeah, this project is a to-do list. Okay, like kind of task list.
Okay.
Okay, so you can add some task here. So why I'm using the same project example here, because you should want to understand what we basically doing, right? So we know how to select the element from the document, we know how to delete, we know how to create the element, everything we saw. But now we should want to implement all the things what we learned from here and also from the fundamentals. Okay, this is what we're going to do tomorrow. So far we learn a lot of things in the fundamentals also, and also in the DOM also. So the DOM is now completed. Tomorrow we're going to create what we learned so far. Using that, we're going to create this small application. Okay. So tomorrow we get it. So you understand the local storage and session storage.
Yes, sir.
Tomorrow we'll understand deeply because we're going to implement the local storage in our this application. Okay, in this application, so that you will understand perfectly. No problem about that. So I'll push the code in GitHub. Okay, so up to local storage. Ayyo. So go and practice this, the basics. Okay. Then only you can able to understand what we are doing. Okay, so please go and learn everything what we learned so far. Tomorrow we get into the project and we shall create all this project. Okay,
Okay.
that's all. Okay. Shall we close?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
thank
sir.
you so much. Yeah, okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.